Stay tuned and let's take a look at these Marvel Legends that came with the Haslab Sentinel. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a closer look at the Marvel Legends figures that came with the recent Haslab Sentinel. Now I've already took a look at the Sentinel. There is a full unboxing and review on the channel right now. So go and check out the videos tab. I'll put the link in the description and in the eye in the corner. I thought I'd make a separate video just giving these two Marvel Legends a little bit of attention, just like I would if they came in a regular wave. So we've got two figures here. We've got Bastion and the female Prime Sentinel, and then we also get an interchangeable head which you can turn Bastion into a Prime Sentinel army builder. So I'm going to try and explain to you who these characters are and why they relate to the Sentinel in the first place. And as I said, these are probably going to be the most expensive army builders in Marvel Legends history, because it would be great to have the opportunity to get multiple of these, especially these Prime Sentinels, but as I said, that's going to be very difficult unless you bought multiple Sentinel Haslab. So yeah, even still, we'll take a look at these figures. Okay, so before we look at the figure, let me just give you a quick Who Is He segment on who Bastion is. So Bastion debuted in the 90s, and he is essentially a human/Sentinel hybrid, a mix between the Master Mold and Nimrod, you know, the advanced Sentinel prototype from the future. So this guy is obviously very anti-mutant. He runs an organization called Operation Zero Tolerance, aka OZT, an international anti-mutant strike force, and he uses nanotechnology to turn people into Prime Sentinels to help fight his cause. So obviously that is why we get this interchangeable Prime Sentinel head that we will check out in a minute. But Bastion himself is all white with the grey hair and this like metal beard with a little bit more shining through. So I do really like this face sculpt. He's obviously got those red eyes, but they're a bit more purpley pink here, which is I'm absolutely fine with. But this is a very nice sculpt. As I said, you can see some detail there in the sort of technology on his face. Looks like a big chin strap, doesn't it? Like a metal jaw, if you will, like a James Bond villain. But nope, he's an X-Men villain, of course. But I do like the little bit of beard that hangs off that metal there. And yeah, the facial expression is very good as well. Hair's nicely sculpted, all swept back, and there is a bit of wash in that hair as well. Definitely a bit of detail in there to bring out that sculpt. A bit more detail there on the neck as well. So yeah, overall this is a very nice face sculpt, very accurate to the character. The character is seen in a few different ways depending on how the artist draws him, but I do think this is a great middle ground and definitely resembles Bastion from the comics. Now his outfit, of course, is very simple, but again very accurate. We've got this sort of purple V, which is sculpted on here. You can see it's a separate layer, and then we've got a more of an indented V, sort of in the art reactor space, if you will, and that is painted red. We've got these three little gold sort of arrows, if you will. And again, these are sculpted on. So I'm assuming that this whole upper torso is brand new. The arms and the legs are like Sunfire arms and legs. He comes with two-fisted hands, no interchangeable hands. But he is on a black body. So any Marvel Legends that has black hands, I'm sure you can swap out. And maybe I'll find some on the shelf to do exactly that. But I'm happy he comes with two fists. If a figure's only come with one set of hands, I'd rather them be fisted hands for neutral poses and for punching people, of course. So yeah, that works out very well. So yeah, the neck has got a bit more detail on over here, as you can see, a bit of gold against that chrome, that metal, and again there is some sort of texture in like wires or whatnot coming down to the chest piece. And but yeah, definitely a new chest piece from what it seems. Definitely no reuse there for Bastion. Arms will go all the way up sort of to 90, not quite, but decent enough. And there's no butterfly joint, but the arms still go in pretty far, to be fair. Look at that, they will cross. So even though there's no butterfly joints, it's still a pretty good range. Arms obviously spin all the way around. There's a swivel up there at the bicep, and then double jointed elbows, which, yeah, they go pretty far. Look at that, you can touch his own shoulder, no problem at all, and then a hinge on the wrist as well. Ab crunch is pretty good. Back more so than forward, and there's obviously a waist swivel there. Not really any other details on the figure apart from the head and the torso piece. The arms and hands are all black. On the back is all black. You just get some of that collar piece hanging over. And the legs all black. No shoes, no boots. It's all just sculpted just like a Spider-Man figure. As I said, I do think this is the Sunfire body. And yeah, double jointed knees, shall we see? Yeah, not bad at all. Lots of crease in the knees, but not great. But he can kick his own ass, so it is pretty good, to be fair. I was just testing him. There's a swivel up there as well at the thigh, and the legs go out that far. They go forward, pretty good, and back. Not so much, but again, that's fine. So this guy is obviously a robot. He has lots of different abilities, very durable, very strong, very cybernetic in nature. He can't read his mind, but he can like spot mutants in a crowd, all that stuff. So yeah, Bastion's been around for a little bit now, as I said, from the 90s. I feel like the 90s was last week, but it was over 30 years ago, which is insane. Yeah, here we have Bastion looking very nice. So this body, of course, can turn into an army builder. So Bastion isn't an army builder. He is one singular character. So you don't want multiple Bastions on your shelf. So if you do get another Sentinel, you want to use this Prime Sentinel head. And there you go. So as I said, Bastion can turn people into Prime Sentinels using nanotechnology. And they're hidden in plain sight as well. Because it's nanotech, he can infect you and you won't even know about it. But he uses these Prime Sentinels to do his bidding. So they are army builders. The same with the female one that we'll look at in a minute as well. But yeah, this head sculpt obviously just pops on the Sebastian body. And it is quite generic, but obviously very Sentinel looking. And this is what I keep teasing and saying is the most expensive army builder ever. Because, yeah, it really is. So nice white face. Again, the same pinked out eyes. And then the purple sort of metallic helmet piece, if you will, that matches the metallic-y purple of this collar piece as well on the figure. So, as I said, if you brought a couple of Sentinels, definitely worthy of having one being Bastion. And then many others, as many as you got, can be your Prime Sentinels. I've only got one of each, but I'm happy about having both versions represented on the shelf. But yeah, here we go. This is your Prime Sentinel. So this is the army builder, and I'm curious to know, because obviously this figure is going to be very rare, can I pop this head on any other Marvel Legend? So sticking with the purple theme, I've just pulled off Machine Man and then Professor X from the House of X, Powers of X wave, because he is basically an all-black jumpsuit body. And I'm curious to see if this Prime Sentinel head will fit on either of these. Now, I do think Machine Man has fought Bastion in the comics at some point. I do think it's a little bit too metallic-y for this head, but let's try it anyway. So the Prime Sentinel head will just pop onto this Professor X body, but I do think this body is particularly too slim and the head sits a little bit too low on the neck, so I don't think this is right at all. The head also fits on this Machine Man body, like it will just pop onto the peg, but again, a little bit too low on the neck, so he looks very hench here, and obviously the purples don't match, but it is an option, I guess, if you wanted to, but yeah, there are other figures you could use. I know a few people have used paddling, but I don't think that works either. Yeah, so your best bet is to just try and track down another one of these Bastion bodies, but it's not going to be easy. But still, it's nice to know that this is a nice head sculpt that can pop on other figures if you want to do some modding. And just to prove the point I made earlier, because Bastion is on this all-black body, you can just use other Marvel Legend hands that you have in your collection. So I've literally just popped the hands of this Professor X body, and now I can have Bastion pointing, telling his Prime Sentinels to attack. So I do like having that as an option. So that's always good to know. Moving on to the female Prime Sentinel, and her character background is essentially the female version of a Prime Sentinel. So someone that has been infected with the nanotech from Bastion and turned basically into his own little soldier to do his bidding. This is just the female version of that, and she looks very nice. If I remember correctly, she was the third unlockable tier for the Sentinel before they added on the Tri-Sentinel head. So she was the third one announced, and yeah, very happy with that. It makes a lot of sense. As I said, they're all Sentinel related. So just like the male Sentinel, she has the sort of helmet, the purple helmet, but this time the hair is flowing around, and the hair is a little bit more blonde than it is grey. Like there's definitely like white sculpted hair, but with like a dirty blonde wash. And you can see what I mean there, especially down onto the tips as well. Definitely a darker brownie, a dirty blonde, sort of the best way to explain it. But again, it's nicely sculpted, all swept to one side. So there is a bit bit of wash or a bit of dry brush and whatever they've used, it definitely has a bit of a sort of brownish sort of tint to it, so it's not just straight up white. The lips are pink, the eyes are red, and she's got a little bit of a black outline as well, just to sort of give her more of that female look. Obviously this figure is a lot slimmer as well, but she still has the same sort of neck sort of detail in regards to machinery and just sort of chromy elements coming down to this purple chest piece, which again is similar to the Prime Sentinel. She's got a couple of dots in hers, and again it works around to the back as well. Other than that, this figure, as you can see, is completely black. Everything, absolutely everything is black down to the toes. Spin it all the way around, all black. So a completely black base body, and then all that's different here is the upper torso and then the head sculpt. But again, it's accurate to what we see in the comics, so you can't be mad at it. I think this looks very nice. So a quick run through of articulation for this female figure. Nothing that you wouldn't expect from a standard female body. She hasn't got the new pinless double jointed elbows, unfortunately. You really just get the normal single jointed bend at the elbows, but the arms will go up to 90, and of course they spin all the way around. She also has a swivel at the elbow. The hand will have a hinge up and down at the wrist. There's no waist swivel because the swivel at the waist is all up here at the diaphragm, so there is a bit of movement up there, up and down, and obviously it swivels up there as well. The head's got okay range, but mainly down, not so much up because the hair gets in the way. It will go up a little bit though, but yeah, mainly looking down. Legs has a cut there at the top of the thigh, as you would expect. No boot cut or anything like that, and she has double jointed knees, and you can also see the pins in the knees. So no special treatment, unfortunately, for the Sentinel figures just yet. But again, hopefully 2022 we get those new pinless base bodies for both male and female legends. But as you would expect for female legend. And of course you pair it with the male version of the Prime Sentinel, and as I said, I keep saying it, but these are the two most expensive army builders now in Marvel Legends history. But you can see how they're the same sort of character, just a male and female version. People that have been affected with that nanotechnology by Bastion, and now are basically just mindless robots to do his bidding. Mindless Sentinels, if you will. But yeah, I do like these a lot. As I said, the purples match on these as well. The pink of the eyes is very similar. The colour palette they've used for the face is very washed out on the male. A little bit more flesh on the female, and again, no hair on the white on the male, but the white hair on the female definitely has some sort of wash or shading to it to give it a little bit more dirty effect. But yeah, overall, these are very nice indeed. I genuinely wish there was a way to buy more of these to sort of have them surrounding our Sentinels on the shelf. But a very nice pack-in for what we've got with the Sentinel. As I said, I would have been happy just with the Sentinel. So for me, these are bonuses. But again, these are the army builders. You don't need to army build a Bastion. He is a singular character. But these two, you can go crazy. And here we have another look at the two of them, but this time full length, of course. So these two pair together very nicely. And again, just like the male body where it's on an all black, if you've got any female Marvel Legends that have black hands, you'll be able to swap them out for different poses and expressions very easily. So jumping into some comparisons, here's Bastion again. And like I said at the start, Bastion is essentially a hybrid of Master Mold, sort of mixed with Nimrod's protocols, if you will. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but it's in its most simplest form. Bastion is a consequence of these two merging. And obviously this is just the Master Mold head that came with the recent Sentinel, and this is pretty heavy, to be fair. So yeah, there you have Bastion with Nimrod, which look very nice. And if I move this Master Mold head out the way, I'll try and do a full Sentinel comparison in a second. Let me just bring in the Omega Sentinel, and again, she looks very nice there compared to Bastion and Nimrod, of course. And let's bring back in the female Prime Sentinel as well, so you can see she stands just a little bit taller than Omega Sentinel. But if she had her Kamara head on there, I'm sure that hair would make her look bigger than the Prime Sentinel. But all of these characters on the table are Sentinel related. Here we have Bastion and Prime Female Sentinel compared to some of the X-Men characters from the House of X, Powers of X wave with Wolverine, Cyclops and Jean Grey. And all of these characters can be seen on the artwork packaging for the Sentinel, which is a masterpiece in itself. So I would advise checking that out if you haven't. As I said, links in the description. But yeah, all of these fit very nicely together. And for my own selfish reasons, because I love these Jim Lee versions of the X-Men, here we have Bastion and the female Prime Sentinel compared to 2 males and 2 females with Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey and Psylocke. And yeah, you can see that She scales at about the same height as your average female Marvel Legend, and Bastion seems like he's a little bit taller than Cyclops there on the Bucky Cat body, but mainly because his head's pretty big and so is his hair. But still, looking great together, no matter what the era. Here we have our ultimate Sentinel comparison with the female Prime Sentinel, Bastion, Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and that big boy in the middle you might recognise as the Haslab Sentinel, which is still massive. And due to the sheer size of this Sentinel, I love how you can pose up Bastion and the female Prime Sentinel on his shoulders, leading him into battle. And yeah, these look epic, people. Honestly, what a problem to have. How are we going to display our Sentinel in our collections? Please do tag me on Instagram when you've found a home for him, because I'm really curious where this guy's going to fit in anyone's collection. He's just so big. Look at him on the table compared to the other figures. Insane. And of course, last but by no means least, here we have Bastion and the female Prime Sentinel compared to worthy Hellfire Hank. And yes, Captain Britain has went back to Marvel. I'm very sad. So, final thoughts, I am obviously very pleased with these two new additions to my Marvel Legends collection. Let's be honest, I was all in on the Sentinel regardless. So for me, these are nice little extras, a little bonus if you will, and they are perfectly on theme with the Sentinel as well, as these are technically Sentinels, and they're also characters that would have been very hard to get into the main line. So it makes a lot of sense to put them here, and I'm very happy about it. So I'm just a little bit mad that I ain't going to be able to get more Sentinel Primes, as he would have been an epic army builder for a display. Again, you don't need to army build Bastion. He is a singularity character, but the Sentinel Primed and the female Sentinel Primes would have been perfect army builder fodder villains for your X-Men. And yeah, again, it's just, they're going to be expensive to track down, but I'm happy I have these characters, at least one of them represented on the shelf in the collection. And again, I'm sure you guys will be very happy when you get them in person as well. Very easy to pose up with your Sentinel, and as I said, easy, and they look epic. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Is there something you wish this Sentinel would have come with and it never did, or are you happy with these figures? Always curious to hear your comments in the comments below. But most importantly, if you like Marvel Legends and you want to check out my full unboxing and review of the Haslab Sentinel, links in the description. Check out the videos tab, but please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And as I said, please do tag me in your Sentinel display pictures. And I'm also on Twitter as well at Dan Who Reviews. And you can tweet me there as well. It's all one big community, people. Fun times. And yeah, obviously we've still got some months to go at the end of the year, and the Legends ain't slowing down. But this was a pleasant surprise for September. Did not expect to get the Haslab so soon, but I'm not mad about it. It's epic, people. It really is. As I said, go and watch some reviews. Get yours in hand. Make your own mind up. But for me, it's all about the positives, and I think they've done a great job. But as always, people, my name is Dan W, and I will, of course, see you on the next one.